Have you ever given your heart and effort to someone only to realize they were never worthy of your trust? Imagine investing your time, your resources, and your energy only to face disappointment and betrayal. In this video, we're going to dive into the harsh truth. Some people should never be helped, no matter how desperate they seem. Stay with me as I reveal the types of people you must avoid at all costs if you value your peace of mind and well-being. And before we go on, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell for more eye-opening content. Let's get into it. 1. The manipulative takers. Picture this. A friend or acquaintance who always has a crisis, always needs a favor, and always seems to call at the most inconvenient times. At first, you lend a helping hand. After all, helping those in need is what good people do, right? But as time goes on, you start to notice a pattern. This person is never around when you're the one facing difficulties, never available when you need a listening ear or even a word of encouragement. This is the classic behavior of what I call the manipulative takers. Manipulative takers thrive on the generosity of others, like an endless well that never gives back any water. They enter your life with a singular mission: to take as much as they can without ever reciprocating. Their requests often come cloaked in emotional stories, tales so dramatic and heart-wrenching that you feel compelled to help. But pay close attention. These stories often lack resolution. You find yourself listening to the same problems week after week, month after week, month after month, with no sign of improvement or effort on their part. Why? Because their goal isn't to solve their issues. Their goal is to keep you invested in them, emotionally and often financially. And what about those promises they make? I'll pay you back next month. I'll help you out when things settle down for me, or I owe you one. You might even hear a heartfelt, "You're the only one I can count on." That tugs at your heartstrings. But those promises, they rarely, if ever, come to fruition. The manipulation lies in the hope they plant in your mind that one day your help will be appreciated and reciprocated and reciprocated. But that day never comes. It's a perpetual cycle where you give and they take. Now, here's a subtle yet telling behavior: sudden bursts of kindness. Ever notice how these individuals seem to be particularly attentive or overly complimentary right before they ask for something? That's no coincidence. This strategic kindness is their way of setting the stage, making you feel valued just long enough to lower your guard. It's only when their needs are met that their attentiveness fades, leaving you wondering if that warm moment was real or just another part of their routine. Helping people is a beautiful thing, but helping the manipulative takers in your life isn't noble. It's self-destructive. These individuals will drain your energy, your resources, and your mental peace, leaving you exhausted and unfulfilled. To protect yourself, watch for these warning signs: recurring, unsolvable dramas, unfulfilled promises that keep you hanging on, and sudden kindness that seems to appear only when they stand to gain. You owe it to yourself to recognize when your kindness is being exploited. By identifying manipulative takers and setting boundaries, you reclaim your time, energy, and emotional well-being. The hardest part is saying no for the first time. But once you do, you'll realize that your kindness is best reserved for those who truly value it. 2. Chronic complainers. Imagine sitting down with someone who always seems to be in the midst of some dramatic ordeal. No matter what day it is or how things are going for others, they carry with them a storm cloud that follows wherever they go. These are chronic complainers. People who live their lives perpetually stuck in victim mode. You've likely encountered them. Their stories of woe never seem to end, and somehow their hardships are always due to someone else's shortcomings or bad luck. If you're nodding your head, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Let me paint you a clearer picture. A chronic complainer might start a conversation with, You'll never believe what happened to me today. At first, you listen, empathizing with their struggles because that's what friends and decent people do. But as time goes on, you start to notice that these stories sound eerily similar. It's always a demanding boss, a disloyal friend, an unfair circumstance. Yet when you suggest solutions, maybe try talking to your boss about your workload, or what if you distanced yourself from that toxic friend? They dismiss them with a sigh, a wave of the hand, or an excuse. Why? Because they're not looking for solutions. They're looking for a captive audience. Here's the truth that's tough to swallow. Chronic complainers don't want to change their circumstances. Change would mean taking responsibility, shifting their mindset, and putting in the effort to alter their situations. But this goes against their narrative, the belief that they're always the victim and never in control. Sympathy and attention are what fuel them, not solutions. So when you offer your time, your listening ear, and your emotional support, you're not helping them climb out of their problems. You're validating their cycle. And that cycle, it's a bottomless pit. Helping a chronic complainer might start as a heartfelt effort, but before you know it, your hours and days are consumed by problems that were never yours to begin with. You find yourself mentally and emotionally drained, realizing that no amount of support will change their outlook. They might seem grateful for a moment, but soon they're back with another complaint, another reason why the world is unfair to them and why they can't make a change. A particularly frustrating trait of chronic complainers is their ability to make their problems contagious. Spend enough time with one, and you might start to feel the weight of their negativity dragging you down. Conversations become exhausting, and you may find yourself feeling helpless or even resentful. This is because the chronic complainer's need for constant validation siphons energy, leaving you with little to give to others or yourself. So, what can you do? Recognize when your empathy is being misused. It's not that you shouldn't care for people going through tough times, but understand that there's a fine line between helping someone who's genuinely in need and enabling someone stuck in their victimhood. Practice setting boundaries, offering only the time and support that align with your well-being. Redirect conversations to solutions when possible, and don't be afraid to step back when you realize your words fall on ears that aren't ready to listen. Remember, true friends, or those seeking real growth, will appreciate constructive feedback and take steps toward improvement. But chronic complainers, they'll keep seeking sympathy without ever changing. Be kind, be empathetic, but most importantly, be discerning. Your energy is a precious resource, and it deserves to be spent where it can uplift, not deplete. 3. The disrespectful ones. Now let's talk about a type of person that can drain your kindness and leave you questioning your own worth. The disrespectful ones. These are the people who don't just fail to appreciate your help. They actively disregard it. Picture this. You go out of your way to help a friend or a colleague, sacrificing your own time, energy, or resources. You think you're doing something meaningful, that your efforts are building trust or fostering a stronger bond. But instead of gratitude, you're met with silence, indifference, or even criticism. If that scenario rings true, you're not alone. Disrespectful people are easy to spot when you know what to look for. At their core, they are individuals who see your acts of kindness as their due, not as favors done out of goodwill. It doesn't matter how much effort you put in or what you give up to help them. They'll take what you offer as if they deserved it all along. These people are quick to forget the times you went the extra mile. Even worse, when things don't go perfectly, they'll shift blame or find faults in what you did, making you feel like your best wasn't good enough. This behavior leaves you with a bitter taste, questioning why you bothered to help in the first place. Let me paint you a scenario. Say you stay up late to help a friend prepare for a major presentation or finish a work project. You've sacrificed your own rest, maybe even pushed aside your own tasks just to ensure they succeed. The next day, they breeze through as if your contribution didn't matter. There's no thank you, no acknowledgement of the time you spent. And if things don't go perfectly, you might even hear them say, well, if only I'd had better support. Or the help I got wasn't what I needed. This is the hallmark of a disrespectful person. They not only fail to value your help, but subtly or blatantly undermine it. One of the most damaging aspects of dealing with such people is how they make you feel. Over time, consistently dealing with this kind of disrespect can erode your confidence and generosity. You start to wonder if your efforts are worth it or if your time and kindness would be better spent elsewhere. And here's the truth. They would be. Your empathy, care, and time are priceless. And those who can't see that don't deserve it. It's crucial to recognize when someone takes your kindness for granted and treats it as a weakness rather than a strength. The mistake many of us make is believing that if we just help enough, show enough kindness, or go the extra mile one more time, the other person will finally appreciate us. But with disrespectful individuals, that moment of acknowledgement rarely, if ever, comes. They've grown accustomed to taking, expecting, and diminishing your efforts, seeing them as part of the background rather than gifts that deserve recognition. The solution isn't to become cynical or stop helping others altogether. Instead, it's about setting boundaries and being selective with your energy. Surround yourself with people who see your value, who respond with gratitude, and who uplift you just as much as you uplift them. When you start recognizing these traits in people, you'll know who truly appreciates your help and who only drains it without a second thought. Be strong enough to step back from those who only take and never give, who see your sacrifices as a given and not the gift they truly are. Your time, your effort, and your empathy are powerful gifts. Don't waste them on those who don't see their worth. 4. The deceptive opportunists. Let's delve into a type of person who can be the most disarming and hardest to identify. The deceptive opportunists. These individuals are masters of disguise, charming and convincing enough to win your trust and make you believe they're on your side. But beneath that charm lies an ulterior motive, one that's self-serving and void of genuine care. If you've ever been blindsided by someone who seemed trustworthy only to find out they were using you for their own gain, you know the damage this type of person can do. Imagine someone who appears just when you're facing a challenge or a critical moment in your life. They offer help or lend a sympathetic ear, saying all the right things and presenting themselves as a friend or ally. Their support feels almost too good to be true, and for a while, you're grateful for their presence. They seem to understand your situation perfectly, making you feel seen and heard. But as time goes on, you start to notice small inconsistencies. They might ask for favors that don't align with your relationship or drop hints that they need something in return. Initially, you brush it off as a normal give and take between friends or colleagues, but then it becomes clear. Their generosity and support were never without strings attached. The deceptive opportunist operates with one main goal: to gain what they need and move on, leaving you in their rearview mirror without a second thought. Once they've secured the job referral, borrowed your resources, or gained your connections, they're gone, sometimes overnight. You might reach out to them after their disappearance, expecting at least a courteous response or some form of continued contact. But all you get is silence. It's as if you never existed in their life. This kind of betrayal stings because it's rooted in deception. You trusted them, opened up, and let them into your world, believing they cared for more than just their own agenda. It's not just the loss of whatever they gained from you. It's the realization that their entire act of friendship or alliance was just that, an act. The pain of such betrayal can lead to feelings of embarrassment, self-doubt, and frustration. You might ask yourself, how did I not see it? Or why did I let myself be fooled? Deceptive opportunists are particularly adept at spotting people who are generous and willing to help, using their charm to manipulate that kindness. Their methods are subtle enough that even the most discerning people can be caught off guard. They don't rush. They play the long game, establishing trust and waiting until the perfect moment to make their move. And when they've gotten what they want, their true colors show. Whether it's a sudden change in attitude, vanishing from your life, or shifting their focus to a new opportunity, their betrayal can leave you feeling used and disillusioned. So how do you protect yourself from these deceptive individuals? The key is to look beyond the surface. Pay attention to patterns and behavior over time, not just words. A true friend or ally will not only be there when they need something, but will also show up for you without expecting anything in return. They'll value the relationship itself, not just the benefits they can extract from it. Be cautious when someone appears too eager to align with you, when they suddenly pop up in your life during a moment of vulnerability, or when you have something valuable they need. Healthy relationships are built on reciprocity, not opportunism. Remember, it's not about becoming mistrustful or cold-hearted, but about knowing when to set boundaries. Your willingness to help is a strength, not a weakness, but only if you reserve it for those who are genuine. The deceptive opportunist will drain that strength and leave you questioning your own judgment. By learning to recognize the signs of manipulation, like sudden disappearances after they've gotten what they want, you can protect yourself from being used. Keep your circle filled with people who value you as a person, not just as an opportunity. It's these genuine connections that make helping others worthwhile and prevent you from becoming prey to the deceptive opportunist's charming but hollow act. 5. Those who disrespect your boundaries. Let's talk about one of the most critical types of people you should be cautious about helping: those who disrespect your boundaries. These individuals often come across as persistent, needy, or even persuasive. But beneath their requests lies a troubling trait. They fail to respect the lines you set to protect your own peace and well-being. When you continue to help people who habitually overstep these boundaries, you're not just enabling their behavior. You're also sacrificing your own mental, emotional, and sometimes physical health. Picture this. You have a friend or family member who constantly calls or texts at the most inconvenient times, asking for favors, advice, or assistance. You may have had a long day or been in the middle of handling your own responsibilities, yet their requests keep coming, demanding your attention. When you do gather the courage to say no, they don't take it well. Instead of understanding and respecting your need for space, they guilt, trip you, making you feel selfish or uncaring. "But I really need you right now," they might say, or "I thought you were my friend." Friends help each other, don't they? The weight of these words can make you cave in, not because you genuinely want to help, but because you feel obligated and manipulated into doing so. Over time, this pattern can become toxic. You may find yourself in a state of constant stress, afraid of saying no or asserting yourself. The person who doesn't respect your boundaries isn't just being inconsiderate. They're showing a lack of empathy and an unwillingness to see you as more than a means to their end. When you continually allow this, you send a silent message that it's okay for them to treat you this way. Reinforcing their behavior, these individuals may seem harmless or well-meaning on the surface. They could be friends who frequently ask for rides, colleagues who always need your assistance on projects at the last minute, or family members who expect you to drop everything to cater to their needs. But what distinguishes them is their reaction to your boundaries. Instead of accepting your limits and showing respect for your time and energy, they push back, question, or dismiss your need for space. And when they do acknowledge it, they often make you feel guilty, flipping the narrative so that you become the bad guy for trying to uphold your boundaries. One of the most damaging effects of constantly helping these individuals is the impact on your self-worth and energy levels. If you don't guard your boundaries fiercely, you may start to feel exhausted, burnt out, and even resentful. What begins as an act of kindness can turn into an obligation that weighs you down. You might start avoiding interaction with this person or even dread hearing from them, which is a strong indicator that your boundaries have been crossed one too many times. So, how do you handle these boundary disrespecting individuals? The first step is recognizing the pattern and giving yourself permission to say no without guilt. It's okay to prioritize your own needs and acknowledge that your time and energy are not infinite resources. You need to set clear, firm boundaries and stick to them, even if it means facing uncomfortable conversations. For example, you could say, "I'm not available right now, but I hope you find a way to manage this." Or, "I can't help this time, but I know you'll figure it out." Notice that this communicates care without bending to their demands. It's important to know that real friends and genuine people will respect your boundaries. They will understand that you have your own life and responsibilities, and they won't make you feel bad for not always being available. The ones who don't, those are the people you need to reconsider helping. This doesn't mean cutting off everyone who tests your boundaries once or twice. After all, misunderstandings can happen. But when someone consistently ignores or disrespects the lines you draw, it's time to take a step back. Remember, helping others is a wonderful and noble thing. It strengthens relationships, builds community, and brings fulfillment. But if it comes at the cost of your own well-being and sense of peace, then it's not truly helping. It's sacrificing. Guard your boundaries fiercely, and don't be afraid to protect your time, energy, and emotional health from those who show a pattern of disregard. In the end, preserving your boundaries is not just an act of self-respect. It's a way to ensure that the help you do offer is given willingly and without resentment. 6. People with hidden agendas. Now, let's focus on one of the more subtle, yet highly impactful types of individuals you should be cautious about helping. People with hidden agendas. These individuals can be some of the most difficult to spot because they often wear the mask of sincerity, blending in as colleagues, friends, or acquaintances. But make no mistake, their requests for help come with strings attached, and those strings are usually pulled to serve their own motives, not yours. The danger lies in their ability to drag you into situations or conflicts that are not yours to bear, leaving you entangled in a web of drama and complications that could have been avoided. Picture this scenario. A coworker approaches you with a seemingly innocent request. They need your assistance on a project, or maybe they want your input on an ongoing dispute they're having with someone in the office. At first, it might seem like they value your skills or trust your judgment. But soon, you realize that your involvement has led to you being placed at the center of a conflict that had nothing to do with you. They've subtly positioned you to take sides or become part of their personal agenda, which might harm your reputation or relationships with others. These hidden agendas are not always about workplace issues. In friendships or family dynamics, it could be someone who asks for your help or opinion in ways that seem innocent, but are, in reality, tactics to create divisions or gain leverage. For example, a friend might come to you with complaints about another mutual friend, seeking your agreement or action. Before you know it, you're caught between two people, playing the mediator or even being accused of fueling drama, even if all you did was offer a listening ear or some advice. The original requester might benefit from this chaos, manipulating the situation to come out looking better or more supported than they were before, while you're left dealing with tension and distrust from others. What's even more concerning is how well some of these individuals disguise their true motives. They may present themselves as humble or vulnerable, appealing to your sense of compassion. Their requests might come off as urgent or heartfelt, pulling at your emotional strings and making it difficult to say no. It's only later, when you're knee-deep in complications, that you realize their intent was never just about the request. They had a plan all along, one that benefited them, while costing you peace of mind, time, or even your own credibility. To avoid falling into these traps, it's crucial to observe the patterns and behaviors of those around you. If you notice that someone's requests for help are consistently tied to their own personal gain, especially at your expense, that's a red flag. Ask yourself, does this person come to me only when they need something that aligns suspiciously well with their interests? Do I feel uneasy or drained after helping them? If the answer is yes, then it's time to set boundaries and approach these interactions with caution. The key to protecting yourself from people with hidden agendas is learning to say no or stepping back when something doesn't feel right. Trust your intuition. If an ask feels off, it probably is. You can also create space between yourself and the situation by responding with neutrality, such as, "I'm not sure I'm the best person to get involved in this," or "I hope you can find a way to work through this on your own." These statements send a clear message that while you care, you're not willing to compromise your own stability or become a pawn in someone else's strategy. Being wary of hidden agendas doesn't mean becoming suspicious of everyone who asks for help. It means being selective and attentive, understanding that not every favor is as simple or innocent as it seems. Healthy, genuine relationships are built on transparency and mutual respect, where helping each other leads to shared growth and positivity. But when someone's request feels lopsided, self-serving, or strategically designed to benefit them more than you, it's time to take a step back. Remember, your time, energy, and involvement are valuable. Invest them in people who seek your help for honest and mutual reasons, not those who see your kindness as an opportunity to further their own schemes. By recognizing and distancing yourself from individuals with hidden agendas, you safeguard your peace, reputation, and mental health. In conclusion, remember that not all acts of kindness are met with appreciation. Your empathy is a gift, one that should be offered to those who respect and value it. So, choose wisely who you extend your hand to. It's better to say no than to regret saying yes. If you found this video insightful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more deep dives into life's most challenging situations, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay discerning and protect your peace.